Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on our session on transforming manufacturing, creating the digital factory with our speakers, Dr. Chua Wen-Shyan and Mr. Vincent Oh. Before we begin, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Isa, and I'm with SHRDC, and together with my colleague Yilin, we'll be your moderators for today. And before we start, I'd just like to start with a quick housekeeping check. Participants' audio and video capabilities are disabled for this webinar, but please go ahead and check that you are muted on your respective devices. The raise hand reaction regrettably will not be attended due to our constraint on time. But if you do have any questions regarding today's topic, you can type them in the Q&A box located on the bottom of on the ribbon at the bottom of your screen, which will be addressed by the speakers and Yilin at the end of today's session. If you have any general queries, Yilin and I are happy to accommodate, so feel free to type them into the chat box. And lastly, for optimal viewing, we recommend selecting the speaker's view on the top right corner of your screen. And just as a reminder, this session will take approximately 1 hour. Right, so today's webinar series will be slightly different as we will be celebrating the build of a new partnership between SHRDC and Nexcom. So to kick off today's session, we are pleased to showcase the following video. Right. Before we begin, let me just start with a quick introduction of our first speaker today, Mr. Vincent. Mr. Vincent, if you could have your camera on. Hi, good morning. Mr. Vincent has 14 years of experience in industrial and factory automation product and solution development, as well as 8 years of IoT and Industry 4.0 product and solutions. Currently a country representative for Nexcom, Vincent is based in Johor Bahru and travels extensively to promote IoT technologies to Malaysian companies. Without further ado, I'd like to now hand over the session to Mr. Vincent.
Today, I'm the first presenter to present the so-called transforming the manufacturing, co-creating the digital factory. My name is Vincent Oh, Regional Business Development Manager from Nexcom International from Taiwan. So today I will cover it is on the overview for the digital factory. Then next IoT introduction and so-called E&E, so-called end-to-end solution architectures. Then success case in from Malaysia and from Taiwan. Then the conclusion for digital factory definition. So I'd like to say that about the technology is changing about business model. Then we know that Uber is the largest taxi company is in the world, but we know that there are not any vehicle on the there are not any there are not any appointed taxi or either driver on that. Then we are all the Facebook users. We know that Facebook is a more popular media company, but there's no contents. Alibaba, I know that we are using MCO. We buy a lot of online purchase from Lazada, Alibaba, but it's not any inventory or warehouse. For Airbnb, we know that there is a so-called largest hotel provider, but there is no any no real estate on that. So technology is changing the business model, then technology also changing the manufacturing technology on that. So talk about smart factory. A lot of people asking me what is the first step for smart factory? So my answer is we thinking about machine to machine, machine to platform communication. So it's so-called cyber physical to control the production system. This is a first step for smart factory. Then talk about manufacturing journey map. I'd like to highlight got few digital hotspot on the manufacturing on that. Then we are talk about the inbound, outbound logistic. Then we like to talk about the warehouse. Then important role for smart manufacturing to control with the production flow. It's talk about manufacturing execution system. It's so-called MES. So these three areas, I like to share with SME people or either manufacturing people. These three layers, you guys may be thinking about can kickstart this digital hotspot area, can become your POC purpose or kickstart or the so-called smart manufacturing first step. Then talk about the challenges. We know that when people want to kickstart the so-called industry 4.0, either smart manufacturing, we know that it's a so-called difficulty to in communication. We very difficult to communicate with the whole party inside the factory or inside the company. So we come from the engineering department, QC department, production floor. They have the different thinking, different overview for their current situation. Then another one important problem is we actually thinking about lacking for the necessary talents. We can run faster to kickstart with the industry 4.0, but until last, who want to maintain the system? So another one important problem is a lot of people is concerned about the cyber security. We worry about the data ownership, then system be hacked. So this one is also the challenge and issue people is worried about kickstart or moving forward to the digital factory. Well, for moving forward to digital factory, I would like to suggest manufacturing customers must kickstart with some training contents. Let the downstairs people like the operator, supervisors, superintendents to know that what is the overview on the digital factory, then what is the benefit, the challenge we're facing before moving forward to digital factory. So this is so-called related technology for digital factory. Then we know that talk about the technology. Now a lot seminar or other public announcement talk about IoT, AI, cloud computing, smart sensors, big data, automation, and also the predictive maintenance. So this is so-called related technology to help end customers to moving forward on the digital factory. Then this is so-called manufacturing transformation overview. We know that today, all the I think almost manufacturing got the device layer is the sensors or machine, and the machine controllers, MES label or ERP. So what is their job function on that? So for the device layer, we know that yes, to handle with the automation, control safety, then HMI, SCADA, then the plan schedule on the MES, then ERP will know that they control the finance, HR, CRM, all this kind of function. Coming forward on the digital factory, actually we can enhance their each section for their job. But we can move forward to intelligent equipment with reduce the failure and downtime. Then we also talk about control layer is also production, optimization, and reduce the process cost. And MES, we know that we are also doing for accelerate to cost plan, performance, coordination, and facility. Then ERP is so-called responsive and the dynamic cost industry value network. Then this one can enhance for each software or each system on the digital factory. So today I'd like to share with you guys my introduce a company. I come from the Next AIoT. We are the subsidiary for industry Nexcom International Corporation Private Limited. So actually, in Southeast Asia, we are providing the so-called consultant service for the smart manufacturing. We also help customers to doing with the OT and the IT integration. Then we also help customers to doing the big data analytics. Then in Malaysia side, actually we also providing the industry 4.0 readiness assessment. Then one more thing important part, actually we already signed the MOU with the Selangor Human Development Center to talk about the industry 4.0 related training. Then this area actually will focus on the IoT and robotic training on that. So this is our solution architectures. In Next IoT, we actually have we provide the vertical and horizontal integration. We have the different kind of PLC and PLC gateway, CNC gateway, robot gateway to communicate with different kind of machine and device and sensors to help SI either end customers to collect the data, then massage the data, then to show on the dashboard, then at the same time doing the big data analytics. Then last step we're doing the so-called predictive maintenance on that. This is so-called end-to-end solution. We are from device layer until cloud layers. Then this is our success story in our Taiwan Huan Ya Factory. This system actually is monitor the whole factory performance. So this system actually we have separate out to 11 section. So actually we will monitor about the facility, production line, then the motor variation on the predictive maintenance, Then we also monitor the energy. Then important part, we also monitor about cyber security system on that. Then we we also have the secret tools to doing the real-time finance management. This software actually can help customer calculate the cost per product on that. Then this is a so-called architecture on this system. Actually, we monitor the SMT PCBA process. At the same time, we also monitor the environment on the temperature and humidity. Then at the same time, we also monitor with the energy monitoring to monitor the whole factory energy usage. I'd like to share with you guys, we have the few success stories in Southeast Asia. So actually, we already help customer to link up the machine by the CNC gateway to monitor the CNC machine performance and downtime. Then we also have the special so-called injection molding gateway can link with the injection molding controllers to provide the real-time modeling on the dashboard and also link up with the MES and ERP system on that. Then this is another one success story. We actually also help customers to design and fabricate and doing the installation for the fully auto production line. Actually, this fully auto production line is help customer to reduce about 20 operators, at the same time increase the UPS about 12%. So I'd like to do some conclusion on the digital factory. So I'd like to share with you guys, digital factory is not about just automation and robotics. It's not just about predictive analytics. It's not just about the isolated best practice. So digital factory is a long journey. It's a continuous journey. We will continue to improve. Then digital factory is talk about the baseline solution. Then digital factory is talk about the standardization and innovation. Then digital factory also talk about the structured system. Then digital factory will know that we are connecting everything inside the factory. So this is my my presentation today, sharing today. So got any question you can ask on the Q&A. Then also drop the email for to me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. Now on to our next speaker. The Malaysian Smart Factory, MSF 4.0, is an initiative by Selangor Human Resource Development Centre to deliver hands-on and competency-based training programs to support workforce and talent development in the fields of IoT and smart factory. The MSF team is led by Dr. Chua Wen-Shyan, who is our second speaker for today, who obtained his PhD in Control Systems Engineering and Bachelor of Engineering in Mechatronics Engineering from Monash University, Malaysia. His key area of expertise lies mainly in the area of control and automation systems, fault detection and identification, and predictive maintenance strategies, which are widely used in Industry 4.0 applications. Without further ado, I'd now like to hand it over to Dr. Chua.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Ezra, for the introduction, and thank you, Mr. Vincent, for sharing your insights on Industry 4.0 for digital factory on Nexcom end. Give me a moment. Let me try to pull my screen up. Okay. So welcome everybody to the webinar together with Nexcom this morning. We are very happy with this partnership with Nexcom. And of course, we are very happy to have everyone here today to listen to our webinar and our sharing session. So on my side, I will be presenting more on the sustainable digital transformation towards the digital factory. So my name is Dr. Chua. I'm the head of technology for SHRDC, and I manage the Malaysian smart factory space. So let's move on to an overview of Industry 4.0 and the smart factory integration of technology concept. So when we talk about Industry 4.0, it's really about the journey towards digital transformation and productivity. So if you look at this chart over here, what we can actually say is that throughout the number of years, when we think about product variety versus product volume per variant, right? In the very olden days, right, in 1850s, you know, there's a lot of product variety, right? Because it's a lot to do with, you know, the uniqueness of made to you concept, uniquely for you. You know, that kind of concept of customization was very much there in the 1850s. But when you think about it, along the way, what happens is that we start to have a lot of mass production. That's in 1955, you know, mass production, everything is mass produced. You know, clothing sizes are kept at a very standard Asian or European sizes. Tables and chairs are made to a specific sizes. So then if you think about it, in terms of mass production, you have a lot of, you know, the variance is actually very, very low. But when you think about it along the way, you know, as we progress further towards the 2000s, 2010, 2020 at the moment, you know, people start to think about, you know, customizing products, right? You want products, again, that are made for you. But at the same time, you want to ensure that, you know, the cost is effective. It is not too expensive. Hence, the concept of mass customization comes about. And when you think about mass customization, that is what Industry 4.0 can really do to support you in terms of that process of mass customization through an entire the product life cycle. And hence, what happens is that you help to maintain, you know, to be more competitive because you are able to produce in a mass customization kind of manner or personalized production made for you. So when we think about the whole Industry 4.0 concept, right? You know, you hear a lot about the 9 pillars or the 11 pillars. Now, for us, it's more about the integration of technologies, you know, related to Industry 4.0. And, you know, when you think about the integration of technologies, hence, you take a look at the whole operational technology side of things, which is the horizontal integration. Then when you think about the vertical integration, when you go into cloud computing, AI and analytics, that's more about the information and technology, right? And of course, once you have a lot of data, you have a lot of analytics perspective, hence you move towards the digital continuity, which is more towards the digital factory. So it all starts with the operational technology, which is the horizontal integration. Then you go up into the vertical integration, which is information system and technology. Then towards the digital continuity, which is more towards the digital factory concept. So the importance of data, right? When you talk about Industry 4.0, it's not so much about automation anymore. It's not so much about computerization anymore. That's before Industry 4.0. And when you go into Industry 4.0, it's all about using data, you know, data-driven strategies to provide insights, you know, to your manufacturing operation, to your process, to your supply chain. You know, the entire process of Industry 4.0 is about data, right? And when you look at this chart over here, it sort of explains, right? When an event happens, you know, in any situation throughout your life as well, not only in manufacturing processes, you know, when an event happens, you need to know what happens. So you need to understand, you know, when it happens, how fast that message is transmitted to you to know that, oh, that's something has happened, you know, in my production line. So insights about the event becomes available. Then you need to identify the root cause, hence the analysis portion, right? How long do you take to identify the root cause of a problem that happened? Then what are the strategies, right? The failure mode strategies that you undertake to ensure that this root cause is solved, right? That's your countermeasure. And then when you want to make decisions to make that countermeasure, you know, make that countermeasure action, you know, how long, you know, that decision-making process takes. So every single event of time from this chart, you know, you will talk about insight latency, analysis latency, decision latency, and action latency. So all these are time delays. You know, how much time do you spend to make a decision the moment your machine goes down, right? And in a production process or in a manufacturing process, time equals to money at the end of the day, right? Time is of the essence. So how do you then use data-driven insights to reduce your time delays in this whole manufacturing process, right? And when you minimize time delays, you know, to ensure quick resolution, Hence, basically, you are helping yourself to minimize the cost of or impact of this particular event or downtime that happened, right? So what I will share with you is what is the strategies that we work with in SHRDC, Selangor Human Resource Development Center, under the Malaysian Smart Factory Initiative, to really support the industries to understand the technologies related to Industry 4.0, the integration of technologies within a smart factory, and of course, how we help industries towards a sustainable digital transformation through talent development strategies. So the Malaysian Smart Factory 4.0 at SHRDC, what do we do? Generally, we are an Industry 4.0 technology training and development center. We are a technology learning platform where if you have visited our space, you will see that there is a model factory, right? There's a setup here that shows you the integration of technologies together with all our technology partners, including Nexcom as well. Then what else do we do, right? When we provide a lot of technology talent development programs, and after talent development programs, if you want to start a project, to kickstart your journey in Industry 4.0, hence we have a portion which we call proof of concept or lighthouse projects, basically creating a lighthouse for industries to create a beacon of hope towards transforming your factory, towards the digital factory in the long run. And what we do here as well is that we provide live demonstration of technologies together with our partners, so you are able to actually see how technology works right in front of your eyes, because I believe seeing is believing in every aspect of integration of technologies. So when you think about the future, what we are looking at, of course, is a digital training platform. This basically will be a platform of knowledge and skills competency programs, which are more related towards the emerging technology trends as well. So this is a work in progress, and that's what we are working towards too. Now, for Industry 4.0, when you think about data-driven strategies, right? A lot of industries talk about, okay, I want my manufacturing industry to have AI, to have analytics, to be basically very, very smart. The whole manufacturing process to be smart. Now, the key component to achieve AI, analytics, deep learning, or any portion of advanced technologies, the first key component is actually data, right? Does your manufacturing process have data? Yes, your machines may be providing data on a digital screen. Now, that could be a data generation process, which is in level 1. Now, the next question would be, are you visualizing your data, which is in level 2, right? Do you see trends? Do you see charts? Do you have that data presented on your screen? Now, the next portion of it is level 3, which is data storage. When you want to do analytics, when you want to do AI, it all starts with looking at historian data sets, looking at the trends in a past operational line, understanding the root cause, and that requires a lot of domain expertise in your factory to understand what happened to your machine or your process. Why is there excursion? Why is there such a huge downtime? What is the latency time between the machine down to the next to the maintenance team coming to support? All these are data, and those need to be stored, and then you can understand what are the trends in your whole manufacturing process over a span of 3 to 6 months, right? Then you think about data formulation, which is basically a simple formula to identify what is effective, what is efficient. If you have 10 manufacturing process or 10 manufacturing lines, are all lines operating at the same efficiency? How do you identify that all lines are operating in the same efficiency? That's where data formulation comes about. When you look at all the data that are stored, in level 3, you formulate it to give you equation of effectiveness like OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, and calculate which line is actually doing better, which line is actually having problems. Is it wear and tear? Or is it because there are lack of operator training? Or is it lack of raw materials? What is actually happening in each line? Why is it moving slower than the other? So then, of course, eventually, then when you have all these data formulated, you know what's happening, you then want to push it to an analytics platform, no problem. Because why? You have all the data stored. And that's when you look at the analytics portion later on. So these 5 levels are what we call as maturity levels for Industry 4.0 in terms of data automation to kickstart your journey and scale up eventually. So when we talk about level 1, in terms of SHRDC, we look at the data generation where we collect data from machine status, tower light status, think about temperature monitoring, power consumption monitoring, creating alerts and triggers, mobile application. That's what we do at level 1. Level 2 and level 3 is really looking at the data stored, whether on premise, whether is it in the cloud. That depends on what the use case is required. Then we look at visualizing it through a platform like charts, looking at trends, through a time series kind of data logging process. So those are what we do in level 2 and level 3. Then of course, when you think about level 4, right, it's looking at the overall equipment effectiveness, how it is actually working for every line, every station processes. You have a gauge, you actually understand what is the data being generated at every single process. Then you look at the entire factory line, energy management systems. Those are what you look at in terms of level 4. And of course, with all these data being stored, that's when you can move up to level 5 after that eventually. So when you think about the whole smart factory integration of technology, it's all about thinking about custom built applications made for you, right? Industry 4.0 is all about custom application made for you, products made for you, uniquely for you. And when you think about, the whole integration of technology concept, what you look for eventually is to develop domain expertise within your own factory, because those will be your assets, right? The people are your assets, and eventually they are the ones that can help to build these kind of platforms, which is affordable and sustainable, because they will be your main assets and driving force for your manufacturing operations in terms of digital transformation. Hence, moving in terms towards digital transformation in a more sustainable manner, right? So, in terms of how we break down this level 1 to level 5, in terms of programs that we deliver, I like to call these programs as application recipes for us, because these are basically high impact programs where we categorize in terms of leveling concept. And when we think about these high impact programs in terms of recipes, what recipes actually do is that when you come and learn, you come and understand the technology, you can then bring these competencies or skills that you learn from these programs or the recipes that you learn and implement in your factory. Develop your own set of customized recipes, and then you can slowly scale up from there. And when we don't work with technologies in the smart factory, we always think about this multi-vendor approach, open communication protocol, open collaboration concept, which is something that's very, very scalable, very, very sustainable kind of concepts. Why you want to look at open collaboration and open communication is because of rapid prototyping and development. You want to scale up rapidly. You don't want to take 6 months to develop a certain process. You don't want to take 1 year to actually digitalize one machine. That's not very sustainable. So we think about rapid prototyping and development, hence reducing your time to deploy. And that's how our programs are designed towards this direction of rapid prototyping and reducing the time to deploy. So this is actually a success story that we can share about the impact of what training can do towards implementing your own digital transformation strategies, within your own factory. So we work with some companies, on this particular project, training to implementation concept, where we identify first a technical team to adopt Industry 4.0. We help them to identify a talent development program. Once they finish this program, which is one of our popular programs, data generation, the level 1, then we identify a Kickstarter project for them. Then we help them to collect data from a machine, which is through a legacy machine. It's a very old machine. You want to upgrade it, no problem. We will try to support you in that process. Once the project is completed, I'm happy to hear that, that particular industry, from one machine, they have managed to scale up to 10 machines, in a short time span, which is very good. And, because we work on them through training to implementation, hence the concept of flexible and scalable software is developed. It belongs to them, and hence they eventually can scale up from there. So, the journey of Industry 4.0, amidst all the technologies that are in place, technologies are wonderful, and we are happy to work with a partner like Nexcom to introduce their technology in our Malaysian smart factory ecosystem. And at the same time, what we always focus on is a very people-centric concept. When we talk about Industry 4, we always focus about the people first. Peoples are very important to the organization in terms of digital transformation, right? You need to identify your own Industry 4.0 roadmap. You need to get industry leaders buy-in, your managers, your CEO buy-in. You then identify change ambassadors in your own factory operation. And then you set up what we call as innovation team. That's very, very important, because those are the development team that will help you spearhead innovation in your own manufacturing process, then work with us in terms of identifying your talent development roadmap for Industry 4.0. We can help you in terms of the leveling concept, level 1 to level 5, help you to plan it, and then slowly identify Kickstarter projects so that you can start your journey in terms of Industry 4.0. So if you think about that whole concept about, you have to connect to machines or whatnot, come and pay a visit to the Malaysian Smart Factory and you see beyond just machines as well. We look into temperature, humidity monitoring, energy management systems, and we will basically help you through this journey to understand and develop your skills of your workforce to help you scale up your own digital transformation roadmap. So in SHRDC, we always continuously develop and always continuously grow in terms of the whole smart factory space. So we do have webinar communication series from time to time like this today. So please come and get connected with us. These are the links. I think Ezra and Yilin will also share with you links directly to contact us as well. So please do keep in touch with us. Come and visit the Malaysian Smart Factory. Organize a trip here. We are happy to host you at any time. And do let us know about your Industry 4.0 strategy. And we will be there to help you in terms of developing a sustainable digital transformation roadmap through talent development for your company. So with that, thank you for your time today. And that's all I have for this morning.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Chua, for your presentation. I would now like to, hi Yilin, pass on this session to Yilin for the Q&A session.
All right, thank you, Isa. First and foremost, many thanks to all participants as well as panelists for being in the session today. I will kickstart the Q&A session by asking the first question to both our panelists today, Dr. Chua and Mr. Oh. What should commence first, technology acquisition or human capital development? So I'll let Vincent answer this question first.
I think my answer is so-called talent development first. We know that when we start the project in factory, must let outside people to know that what is a technology from outsider. So talent development training is more important before kickstart any POC project in factory.
All right, thank you, Vincent. Dr. Chua, anything to add on?
Yep, I agree with Mr. Vincent on talent development being first, as we are very much people-centric towards creating a sustainable digital transformation. And I think in terms of technology adoption, once you have the right talents, you understand the right technologies in place for you, you are able to really appreciate, the technology implementation, and that whole process or the journey of developing that digital transformation roadmap within your factory, it becomes very valuable. And I think that when you develop your people, they help you to integrate, that motivates them to grow as well. So, it's growing together, towards a sustainable digital transformation roadmap.
Okay, thank you, panelists. I guess I can further sum it up to say that people and technology go hand in hand together. Yeah, we need to have the know-how to make the right choices to improve our processes, to upgrade them to Industry 4.0 standards, and that itself would then contribute back to improving business efficiency and productivity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please do ask any questions or provide any comments, or even if you choose to think otherwise on what we have said here on the panel, we welcome a lively debate. While we wait for questions from all of you, my next question for the panelists would be, perhaps Vincent, you can share with us or reiterate again the step-by-step process for technology acquisition. As you might be aware, a lot of companies and organizations out there are not quite sure how to kickstart their digitization and Industry 4.0 journey. So we'll start with you, Vincent, and then Dr. Chua can follow up.
Then for my suggestion for all the factory must identify your current method pain point. Then kickstart with the POC with a very small project. On the POC side, you can view that or either selected area you want to test and doing the POC. Now try to start and kickstart the project within the whole factory. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Chua?
Yep. So I think in terms of technology adoption, it really starts from, I think what I shared earlier was the level concept in terms of maturity. When you think about data automation, always start from, if you are not at level 1, identify where you are. And then from there, start to think about scaling up, start with some small projects. Then you can start to cultivate that culture of digital transformation. And then eventually slowly scale up from there. And, like one success story that I've shared earlier, when you start with one machine, eventually you have that confidence built in you to continue. So now today that company has 10 machines sort of linked up. And that's a very good story to tell, how the industries can really grow, from level 1 all the way to level 5 eventually through talent development.
Okay, thank you very much, both panelists. I've already summed up in the chat box. Essentially, it's to identify pain points, choose a problem, right? Kickstart via POC project, and in line with the POC, send employees for training, and then look at test for validity and improvement of that particular topic or pain point. Cultivate a culture of digitization, encourage it by upskilling employees so that they're more confident to run the project and go for a ROI in terms of investment for training as well as investment for technology. Right, we have a question from Mr. Yap. Okay, he's asking, to kickstart 4.0 journey, is MES a good start? Maybe we'll go with Vincent first.
For kickstart the industry 4.0 journey, actually OT integration is started. Then MES is the second part. So let the machine to machine talking. Then after complete, we see some benefit. So the machine to machine to doing the monitoring on the OEE. Then also some machine status. Then second level only talk about the MES. Then a lot of people actually confuse the MES. Actually MES got two portions. One is so-called process tracking. Another one is so-called traceability. So these in two main features for MES. Yeah.
Thank you, Vincent. Dr. Chua?
Yep. So I agree with Mr. Vincent as well in terms of OT integration being the first. I think the main question that you can ask would be, number one, how would MES really benefit your operations at the moment? Do you have data being generated from machine to machine in terms of collection of data, visualization, and then storage? And then think about how MES system or manufacturing execution system can support or sort of benefit your current process. Is it you want to look at it in a more higher productivity level? Because most important at the moment would be to understand what is your production behavior in terms of availability, performance, your quality. And then from there, then when you scale up, yes, MES may or may not support you, but it's a good integration to go beyond the shop floor integration first.
All right, so I guess the main takeaway from the answers provided to this particular question is that be clear of the issue you have at hand and how do you envision the solution, and then we go back from that point onwards. Yeah, okay, we've got two questions in the Q&A box, both of them from Chris. And Chris is asking, what is the current take-up rate or transformation projects undertaken by local Malaysian SMEs? So I think we'll go with Dr. Chua first and then follow up by Vincent.
Yep. So I think there's a lot of awareness programs that are there in terms of Industry 4.0, a lot of workshops, seminars. Take-up rate, I believe there are some SMEs that are keen to grow in two areas. One is either they're requesting some system integrator support, or some SMEs actually are going on the path where they want to learn and develop their own teams, and then they'll grow from there. So yes, we do see some take-up rates there, but of course, it all boils down to the industry, whether there is enough talents, you know, to support that process as well. Because there are many industries as well that they don't have in-house engineers or in-house technicians, for example. You know, they invest a lot in outsourcing of this labor, right? So in that case, would digital transformation really help in terms of that process? That is something the SMEs would need to review. But we will always go with you know, building your own teams, have engineers and technicians on board, because why? You need domain expertise. You need people on the board to understand your process, and then slowly then we will grow from there. Yeah.
All right, Vincent, your comments, your feedback, current take-up rate or transformation projects that you have done potentially with any SMEs in the local industries?
On my side, actually, I approach maybe 10 customers. Almost 8 customers is taken about digital transformation. We know that its current SME is no moving forward for digital factory. They are facing for the competition for our nearest country, like the Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia, because their cost, the minimum salary is more cheaper than Malaysia. Then their pickup technology attachment is more faster compared with Malaysia. So I would like to suggest manufacturing end customers thinking and review the digital factory is from now.
So the recommendation is, in order to continue to compete with markets with lower labor costs and wider availability of manual labor, digitization is the key towards that. Yep. Yeah, being able to continue to compete within the market. Just to add to your value to the comments, Chris, if you like, at SHRDC, we partner with our vendors and partners to undertake POC projects. And at this point, we have run approximately 4 in the last 2 years. All right. Another question from you, Chris, is for the projects that we have done, he's asking the panelists, what are typically used by the companies as an internal implementation team or using external vendors to kickstart? So I'll let Vincent answer this question first.
This answer, my answer is just depend how strong your internal team. If your internal team is strong enough, you can engage with the outside technology provider. Then you just sells the solution to your team. Then your team can do doing the implementation on your own factory. It's okay. But for my experience, for SME customer, normally they are engaged with outsider people to provide the so-called total solution on that.
Okay, so Dr. Chua, maybe you want to touch on this in terms of the value of human capital development?
Sure, no problem. So like what Mr. Vincent shared, yes, in terms of SMEs, most of them, because of the talent shortage within the factory, so some may look at may be looking at total solutions being implemented. But of course, so the key point now would be, you know, whether you have talents on board in your factory. And you know, if you have talents, you know, you have your strong talents. We have a very large pool of engineers or technicians out there. They are really, really very, very good. You know, and having an internal team will really help to support your digital transformation process, because you know, a key concept of how MNCs grow, you know, is through product transfer and knowledge transfer. You know, and that's how, you know, operating overseas as a HQ. And Malaysia, you know, you have a lot of big MNCs. You know, how they can grow so fast is because they have their own development team. They have their own product transfer and knowledge transfer. So that really helps in terms of building talent capacity or human capacity within their factories. So yes, we do have some projects which some of the SMEs have already started to develop their own internal team. You know, they have built their own innovation team, and eventually, you know, that success story of 1 machine to 10, that's their own team altogether. because they understand the underlying technology, so they can grow more organically from there. So it really depends. Of course, there are a lot of talent development strategies out there that SHRDC can support. So, you know, we can help to build talents for you in any case you would like to build your own teams within your factory.
Okay, just to follow up to that question from Chris, what is the minimum number are we looking at?
So to build their own team, hello? Yeah. So basically, when we talk about minimum numbers, it would be, you know, start with a team of maybe 3 to 5 packs, you know, and then eventually you can start to grow from there. You know, start with a project. Don't try to do everything all at once, because that may not be very effective. But once you have that whole process, you know, you have one process set up, you know, it's all about the next point will be replicating, you know, replicating to another line, another machine, then slowly grow from there. So start with a team of 3 to 5 packs will be a very good number to start. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Yilin has a technical issue now, so I'm just going to pick up from her. So 3 to 5 packs is a good number,
yeah,
to start with. Right. So
yeah.
if there are, thank you, Dr. Chua. If there are any other questions from our participants, we have about a couple more minutes to spare. So if there are any more. Right. In the meantime, we would really appreciate if our participants today could just spend some time to give us some feedback on today's session. We've just got a really short poll coming up on your screens. Just 3 questions. Did the webinar meet your expectation? Did the webinar motivate you? And would you consider signing up for a full program? So if we can get everybody to just plot in your feedback here, and we're just going to leave that on for a couple of minutes. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Dr. Chua, Vincent, on top of everything that you've just said just now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Vincent, go ahead. No problem.
Go ahead, go, yeah.
No, that's why go ahead. Yeah. I no any need to add.
Oh, okay, sure. No problem. So I think thank you everyone for joining today. I think it's a good program, and for me is to kickstart your journey, understand the technologies available out there. There are very, very good technologies like Nexcom, and build your talents, to integrate those technologies, get started. I think this is a good time to get started, post MCO period as well. So really get started on this journey, come and visit us, have a look at the technologies, and you'll be very, very surprised.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Chua, and thank you, Mr. Vincent, for speaking today. Thank you again to the participants for joining us. If you have any more questions, or if you'd like to contact any of us and contact SHRDC to know more, please feel free to get in touch with the numbers and the contacts on your screen right now.